public service institutions in the national and county governments, as well as other players in the private sector and other institutions, have been mobilized and expected to converge at the Bomas of Kenya. They will unpack, present, and discuss trends as well as practical challenges encountered and solutions to achieving an affordable and fiscally sustainable public wage bill. The conference will also provide an opportunity to discuss and develop purposeful actions towards enhancing the role of productivity in the fiscal sustainability of the wage bill. There indeed exists a huge potential for the optimization of productivity in the public service. Improving public service productivity is a strategic intervention towards the achievement of the 35% wage bill to ordinary revenue ratio, and thus making available more resources for development and other government priorities. Members of the Fourth Estate, the steering committee of the conference sincerely appreciates you for your relentless coverage of the public wage bill discourse. The media has a unique mandate that revolves around promoting citizen empowerment, enhancing public service delivery, and prudent utilization of resources through various reporting channels. The media also has a major role in ensuring that taxpayers get the best value for their taxes. This gives the media an enviable vantage point of being able to shape the narrative around the wage bill. It is this specific media role that we tap into for the conference. In conclusion, ladies and gentlemen, the conference will strengthen our mandates, increase adherence to constitutional and statutory provisions, and enhance our resolve to achieve a wage bill to revenue ratio of 35% by 2028. The conveners of the conference shall continue to respond to increasing needs and complex challenges in dealing with the public wage bill. With everyone's support, we shall work together to realize the national wage bill aspirations target of towards 35%. God bless you, and God bless Kenya, and I thank you. Now I take this opportunity to welcome the CS, Honorable Moses Kuria, to give his remarks. Welcome. Please give him a better round of applause.
Thank you, Chair of SRC, Odali Mandich, Chair of IKRTC, my good friend Kenneth Diago, and also Public Service Commission, the entire SRC commissioners and management and staff members of public service, ladies and gentlemen from the Fourth Estate. I am very honored and pleased to be here as we set the tone and the stage for the large wage conference that will happen from the 15th to the 17th next week. This topic is extremely important. I must say that I have been part of this conversation right from 2014 in the first wage conference that I helped to put together. And I must say that for us, we have seen many more improvements. It is really, way off from where we ought to be. Let me just put into context what the reduction from 43% to 35% means. As the chair has said, it means 80 billion shillings. What that means is that I'm just looking at some of the sectors, like the road sector. Our road sector is barely moving at all. Projects are abandoned all over the country. people who are working on this project in terms of jobs are jobless. The Exchequer, which was receiving VAT and other taxes from these projects, it is showing in the gap in terms of our revenues. You know, so if we can, for example, guarantee that 80 billion extra will be added just to the road sector, year on year, then we could restart a program that has got a very wide multiplier effect on many sectors of our economy and in the quality of living of our people. This topic of wage bill, it should be seen in the wider context of the public service. Because we're not discussing here the salaries of the people in the private sector. We are not discussing the salaries of the people in the informal sector. We are discussing about 983,000 people. 983,000 people. Let's call them a million for argument's purpose. In a country of 54 million, that we consume our wages, our salaries, our emoluments consume 43% of money collected. So if today we collect 100 shillings, 1 million of us will take home 43 shillings, the rest of the 53 million will take home 57 million shillings. This is a question of morality. It's a question of ethics. It's a question of, it's not even a question of economics and other high-sounding principles. It's a question of selfishness. How can 1 million people be so selfish? To just go harm. Imagine 100 people are given 100 shillings. And 1 million, and 10 people get away with half of that. Is that really fair? Do we really have any mathematical or realistic chance of going to heaven? When we are so selfish? But let's look at this conversely. The other 53 million people, they need to have their heads checked. How can you agree to this? How can you agree to show the 1 million people for so long? It is a question of morality on the side of the 1 million, but really it's a question of common sense. And for the 53 million, they need to check in the hospital today. I said, how can you allow 1 million people to continue gobbling money that you select, that you raise from your sweat? So that really is really the context of this. It's not an academic discussion. It's not a theoretical discussion. It's a question of morality. It's a question of ethics. It's a question of fairness. And it's a question of public expectation. And really, the capacity. As a fellow of mine by the name of Kato King says, I'm inviting the 53 million who are shouldering their 1 million to exercise their capacity to get annoyed. Yeah, that is what I'm doing. I'm inviting them to exercise their capacity to get annoyed and ask, how can you agree to carry 1 million people? That from morning to around 1 o'clock, you'll be working for us, for me, for 1 million people. And then only a few hours in the afternoon, you will work for yourself. That really is a context within which we are discussing this. This discussion also needs to be seen in the light of the wider economic discussion. And I will just segment that briefly into 5 pillars of how I see it. The first pillar is on the monetary front, or the monetary policy, or the monetary performance. And ladies and gentlemen, on that front, we are doing extremely well. Our shilling, as you can see, has recovered. Inflation is within check. I just had a chat last evening with the governor of Central Bank in preparation for this briefing. And we are even raising, and we continue the current trajectory. We are going to increase our import cover by increasing our reserves to 4 to 4.5 months cover, which is very good by our standards. So on the monetary front, the governor of Central Bank is doing an amazing job. Inflation is under control. Our exchange rate is okay. Our forex cover is building up, is improving. And just by deliberate policy from this administration, by the reduction or by the strengthening of the shilling on our debt obligation, within the last 1 month, we have shaved off 1.5 trillion shillings in debt, simply on the back of an improved currency, which is very good. Unfortunately, the gains on the monetary front, which is my first pillar of this semester, is washed away by our poor performance on the fiscal space, which is my second pillar. And this discussion today is really about our fiscal money, our fiscal space. As you can see here, just salaries alone, with a wage bill, 43% of our revenues, 7 to 7.5% of our GDP. But just suppose that against the other bigger elephant in the room, which is debt. Debt comes and takes away the other 64%. So what are we saying here? I thought in the afternoon Kenyans will work for themselves. So in the morning they're working for me and then each and you and the 1 million people. In the afternoon they work for debt. It's not even enough. From the time they wake up to the time they sleep, they are just working for debt and 1 million vultures. When we don't call them vultures, before they are vultures, we are vultures. Yeah? That is what we are. Scavengers. We are scavengers, we are vultures, we are hyenas. Because how can 1 million people? 53 million work for 1 million, and then in the afternoon, they work for debt. So, I have not even counted our O&M. And by the way, this question of O&M is also interesting, because who consumes O&M? Ask yourself. What about the rich people? The rich people in the private sector? Who consumes O&M? Still these 1 million vultures. Still these 1 million scavengers. We are still the same people. So in the morning, Kenyans work for mandazi, for salaries. In the afternoon, they work for debt. In the evening, even when they are sleeping, they work for our mandazi and our flowers. That simply put, that is what's happening. Like, Kenyans are slaves of us, of this 1 million people. We are the people who take debt. We are the people who are paid salaries. We are the people who buy mandazis and flowers. And I'm telling you, this is not sustainable. Time will come when Kenyans will say, the rest of them, Waswahili wanasema mjinga akirefuka, mwerevu ni mashakani. And Kenyans will wake up one day and ask these questions. Yeah, they will exercise their capacity to get angry. So, now, we have to do something. We have to do something on our salaries. We have to do something on our debt. And most important thing, we have to do something about the mandazis and the flowers that we consume, saying that, this is, supporting the hustlers and all this kind of thing. No, it is just, sustainable. And that is the truth. I am saying this in the context of what is happening, strikes, union activity. Please consider, when you see somebody asking for a pay rise, remind them that, excuse me, you are a vulture. Excuse me, you are a scavenger. Excuse me, you stand 0 chance of going to heaven. Because this is the reality of what we are facing. That is on, of course, related to this is on our public investment. That because we are spending, I have mentioned everything. I've mentioned our salaries, I've mentioned our mandazis, I've mentioned our debt. I have not mentioned roads, I have not mentioned water, I have not mentioned agriculture. Our public investment, which is called by, I think, unfortunate term, development. Development is nothing but public investment. And because now we have got nothing left. One, from the mathematics I've given, is not even enough for the debt, for the salaries, and for the mandate. We start borrowing from there. Two, to carry out public investment, we borrow to invest. Because all our development budget is actually fully funded by borrowing. Yeah? You used to call them donors before. I am not thinking of donors anymore. I only know people who are lending us money for them to make profit. So let no one call those people donors anymore. They are lenders who are in business. And they are very happy to find people who are foolish enough to continue spreading everything they have, going out there to borrow, and they borrow at very good and exorbitant interest rates. So because of all this competition for our domestic resources, for our taxes, for the money we raise, therefore we have to go to those people who are in business to be able to lend us money for doing our public investment. And so we find that now, as we speak, as of now, and we are now in the fourth quarter, in another less than 80 days, we will close the books for the financial year 2023-2024. Our exchequer releases, listen to this, our exchequer releases for purposes of recurrent expenditure, including mandatories and salaries, starts at 75%. Very good, because we are now at 75% of the financial year. So that's mathematics matching. Our public investments, so-called development budget releases, as we speak, is 16%. So we'll see again how selfish we are. Money comes here to Nigeria, hours for mandate and for salaries and for trips and for all this. It comes of them. 75% of the year, 75% of the releases. The one for 53 million is the development budget. First of all, the money is not there, the money is borrowed, and up to now, we have only released 16% of development budget, with 75% elapsed time as we head towards the end of the financial year. So tell me, even if in the next 80 days we release this money for development expenditure, when is it going to be spent? How do we wait until 80 days?
Naam, ni waziri wa utumishi wa umma Moses Kuria hapo akiwa anazungumza kwenye kongamano la kitaifa kuhusu mzigo wa mishahara ambalo linaendelea hivi sasa. Rais William Ruto pamoja na maafisa wengine wakuu wa serikali na baraza la magavana wanashiriki katika kongamano hilo ambalo linanuia kubuni mbinu za kuhakikisha kwamba asilimia ya mishahara haipiti asilimia 35 ya mapato ya taifa. Mwanahabari wetu Safin Achieng Ouma anafuatilia matukio huko na baadaye atatupa taarifa kwa muhtasari kuhusiana na yaliyojiri. Lakini hapa studioni tunaendelea tu